Okay, hey everyone, happy Tuesday. I'm so glad to see everyone. And this meeting is going to be short and sweet because the training I have today is just that. It's simple. As y'all know, I should probably introduce or reintroduce Rusty. Y'all know he likes to be a screen hog and part of the the training, our time together. And so, anyhow, we're going to try to get through it with him. But I'm glad to see y'all here with me today. And we know that we have a smaller group because we've got a lot of friends in Punta Cana. And so, part of the reason why I wanted to train on the subject, and for those of you that are on my team page, you already know we're going to talk about 5 reasons why you need to post more. And that may feel a little uncomfortable, but by the time we finish today, I think you're going to feel inspired and excited to share even more on social media. I don't know about y'all, but do you ever sometimes feel like social media is a noisy place? That do I really need to show up? Am I just contributing to the loudness out there? Is anybody really watching me or hearing me or listening to me? So I see heads nodding, and my head is nodding too. I've been in that space for a little bit. And, every day I just wake up and I ask God, where do you want me to be today? How do you want me to show up today? And so before we get started, I want to encourage you with that message of number one, God putting you in this space for a reason. And I truly believe that you are. I believe that you are here um, to be more. And so I want to encourage you in that way, number one. Number two, I want to encourage you to ask God daily where He needs you to show up specifically. And when you're quiet and when you listen and you are obedient, you will be directed in that way. So I want, if you can, grab a piece of paper. If not, we're recording this. And so you can refer back to the tips that I'm about to give you. But first and foremost, I want you to know, number one, this is the number one, you are not posting too much. In fact, I would challenge you in letting it in reminding you that you're probably not posting enough. I started this journey, goodness gracious, 11 years ago. So I started my health journey 12 years ago, no, 11 and a half years ago, and my business journey almost 11 years ago. So in April, it'll be 11 years. I kid you not, I probably posted at least 5 to 10 times a day, 5 to 10 times a day. And what I did to stay on track with that, and I want to get, because I'm not just one that likes to give you tips. I like to give you tangible tips, meaning, okay, so you say you posted 10 times a day. How did you do that? I made little check marks in my calendar of 10 boxes. No joke. And every time I posted, I would check off a box. Now, that didn't mean I had to post 10 times. My goal was to post 5 times a day. But I put 10 boxes in because in my brain, more is better, right? And so if I got to 10, I would treat myself, whatever that was. If I put $10 in a jar to go treat myself to a pedicure later, but I would do little rewards for small tasks along the way. So if that also helps you, I don't know if that does. Um, I used to be, okay, so y'all, it's just a small group, so I'm going to kind of spaghetti talk with you a little bit. I used to be a person who did not drink enough water. And it's not that I was drinking anything else, like sodas or anything bad. I just am not a thirsty person by nature. And so to get in the habit of drinking water on a daily basis, I would give myself, keep in mind, this was probably 30 years ago, I would give myself a quarter every time I drank 8 ounces of water. And so then I just had this collection jar of change that at the end of the month, at the end of 6 months, whatever, I would go do something fun with that money. And it would have to be something fun. So I want to encourage you, if posting is a chore for you, give yourself $1 every time you post. Give yourself a quarter, whatever your budget would allow. But if it's something that you're struggling in, and you can apply this to any task that is tedious, you can reward yourself with small increments to then go do something fun and bigger. So again, you need to take massive, consistent action to post regularly. There should be plenty of content out there for you to post, whether that's just, something that's on your heart, something that, testimony, uh, you mixing up your drink. It doesn't have to be life changing posts every single time you post, but show up consistently because uh, it's going to lead us into the second point that I have for you today is that when you share, there is no question who your person that you're talking to is going to get help from. So you showing up on a consistent basis, being diligent about posting makes there absolutely no question because let's face it, your friends probably know more than one person that are part of Plexus, right? Like, do you have, like, clearly, right? Because a friend brought you in, so certainly there's that circle that overlaps there. I have a fun story to share with y'all. And Michelle, you've heard this one probably a million times, so just bear with it. But Annette, when I started in this business, I joined under Celeste Gwynn. Our kids went to the same private school that had maybe 100 students at it at that time. So you would think, oh my goodness, that school was saturated. Not at all. In fact, we probably had, I'd say seven, maybe 10, 7 to 10 joules that were produced from that one tiny private school tucked in the heart of McKinney, Texas. Not a big school by any means. As I just told you, there was 100 students probably total in the whole school at that time. And we produced 7 to 10, I don't remember the exact number. Let's just call it 7 joules. That's still incredible, right? 7 joules from that company. So I want to just iterate that we had many people join us under different people and within that private school, not to mention our other circles that also had other overlapping people. One of my friends at the time that joined me, we went to high school together, so we knew a lot of the same people, but she also became a jewel in Plexus. So I want to encourage you to be that consistent loud voice because it leaves no doubt who the person that you're talking to, they're going to come to you. So that's point 2. Number 3, she, whoever your she is, your target ideal customer, your target ideal business builder, she wants to hear from you more. She wants to hear that transformation. She may even be somebody who's not even liked one single one of your posts, but because you're, and I'm talking about myself, because you're tired, because you feel a little insecure about the day, again, talking about myself, because you're choosing not to post, she's not hearing from you. And so I want to encourage you that there is somebody out there, I promise you, probably more than one person, that is seeing you daily, that is inspired by you, that just has not quite pushed the button yet to call you or to text you or to message you. She's watching you. She needs you. How many times have we heard that if we hold back, we're being a little bit selfish? We're being a little bit, we're not giving our full selves. We know what we know because we know the amazingness of Plexus. We know what it can do. Don't hold back. Okay. Number, what are we, 4? Okay, thanks, Michelle. I see you keeping me on track. Okay, confidently overshare because you believe in the transformation that they will receive. See how these are all tying in together. Man, I want you to remember why you joined. I want you to remember your journey. No story, and I'm going to put this like this, sells, right? Because what we get to do is help people. We get to transform people. We are selling something, but we're not selling something. The more you share your story, the more people are going to be interested. You talk about what it's done for you. You need to be talking about that I mean, I'm going to challenge you here once a day. Once a day, you need to be talking about what these products have done for you. And I don't care if you repeat yourself. How do your children learn to tie their shoe, or how do they learn to get potty trained, right? It is by repetitive action. Repetitive action wins. And I don't think that I can state that statement loud enough or strong enough. Repetitive action wins. You might get tired of talking about what you're talking about. There are times when I show up on calls like this and I'm like, man, they don't want to hear the same old, same old. But I learned from this by showing up and listening to the same thing over and over again for the past 11 years, because it's inspiring, because it's motivating, because it gets you off your hiney and puts a fire under it and puts you back into action. Probably another really something you've heard, but again, is a leading statement. Action wins. If you are feeling like I'm not where my business want to be, I'm sad. I'm sad. I'm not on the beach, right? You're sad. You're not on the beach. Guess what? We have another opportunity down the road to get on the beach, right? So we're not going to let this time hold us back. We're going to show up. We're going to continue to show up, because we know that action wins. We know that consistency wins. And when we step away from those two verbs, if you will, we start to settle back. We start to not gain that traction. So if anything is today, if you hear anything today, it's to show up better after we get off this call. It's to show up and be more intentional, because it's okay. And I want to also tell you, it's okay to get tired. It's okay. We've been doing this a long time, but it's not okay to quit. It's not okay to stay back for too long. I would say you've had your rest. Christmas is over. January, the longest month of the year, what it feels like is over. We're now starting to merge our way in at the end of this quarter, starting a new quarter. I want to encourage you, treat today like a fresh new day and show up differently. Show up differently tomorrow. Show up 5 times tomorrow, and let me know that you have. Now, the last point, we can't end the day without getting in our Bible. So I want to refer to a Proverbs. It's 29:25. Go ahead and write it down. Later, go highlight it in your Bible. And we're talking about not fearing man's opinion. So what it says directly, depending on what version you have, and this again is Proverbs verse 29:25. Fear of man will prove to be a snare, but whoever trusts in the Lord is kept safe. So stop caring, and this is my part now, not that was the verse. Now I'm adding. Stop caring about what other people think. Show up. God put you here. Do y'all doubt that God put you in Plexus? I don't doubt it. If y'all have heard my story, y'all know that I was suddenly faced with being a single mom and exploring my options of working outside of the home. And I was offered a job. I'm telling y'all the very short version of this. I was offered a job about, I'm going to put it in time distance, in traffic, probably an hour, a solid hour from my house, if not more. And it seemed like it was the answer to my prayer. I got a 6-figure job, just all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, suddenly becoming a single mom, went on a few interviews, was offered this job. But the problem was it was an hour away at best. So that then meant I wouldn't be able to take my daughter to school. I wouldn't be able to be at the parties. I wouldn't, and she was young. She was 7 years old at the time. Sadie is now 18. So we've been in Plexus that long, right? She's grown up in Plexus. I would miss all of the things that really were the reasons why I wanted to become a mom. And along came the opportunity, and we'll tell that story another day, but along came the opportunity to join Plexus. So I had a decision to make. And I literally will tell you that if I have ever heard the Lord's voice or the Lord's direction in my life, it was deciding plexus over that six-figure job. Didn't make earthly sense because at least that six-figure job would have paid bills, would have been a bridge to the end. But I just heard this voice of saying, be obedient. This is where you're supposed to be. And I've likened it to just having a soft hand on my neck saying, no, child, you're going to go this way. And so at that moment, I will tell you, I have this verse highlighted. I couldn't care what man thought of me in this because there were opinions, right? Why didn't you just take that job? What are you doing to you and your daughter? You at least had a security blanket. You're not even going to have insurance. What are you doing? Well, what we did, and I'm talking about our team here, what we did was we made a way to pay the bills. We made a way with God's provision to live a blessed life. And when I say blessed, it's not as much about the money. He's provided. It's been that time freedom to be able to be with Sadie, to be able to put her first. And that has always been my priority. But I couldn't care what man thought. And when I say I put my blinders on, I'm really talking about I put this verse on me. Do not care, do not fear man's opinion. And so I want to encourage you that too. So when you go not to post, right? When you find something else to do besides post or share or follow up with someone, I want you to go to this verse. I want it highlighted somewhere. I want it in your heart first, but then visually put it somewhere. Put it in your bathroom, put it on your computer, put it on your phone, wherever. Put it somewhere where you're reminded, because I think so often it's easy because it's slightly easier to not show up, slightly easier not to make the post, slightly easier to go watch a reality TV show than to show up for your people. Show up for your people because you're going to make a difference in their life. And guess what? They're going to make a difference in yours. So I'm so glad that those are the 5 tips. And if you didn't write them down, we've got a recording. You can refer back to them. But I'm so grateful for y'all for showing up today. We've got about 10 minutes. Let me know. Are y'all able to stay on for Work With Me Live? No? Yes. Annette, you're going to stay with me? Awesome. Okay, Michelle, you can't? I'm going to go ahead and, well, let's do this for the people that are watching this on replay. Let's end the recording here. I'm going to ask y'all to stay on for 2 more seconds and just we'll wrap it up privately. But thank y'all for those of you that stayed or chose to watch the recording. We're so grateful for you. And I hope you found these tips helpful.